All right, so for those of you that weren't in class whenever I talked about this, or those of you who are already distance learners, I'm just gonna do a little demo over the next project that we're gonna be doing. So the very first week of school, I had everybody upload pictures of different things, one of which was 3 pictures of something interesting, pictures that you had taken yourself. So I went through and I looked at everyone's pictures and I picked out the one of the 3 that I think would work best for this project. I took them and I cropped and edited them so that everything is sized to what we need. So those pictures I have in week 10, they are the reference pictures for the photo paintings. So this project doesn't really have a name to it. So we'll just call it photo painting because we're gonna be using that picture as kind of the basis of all this. So when you click on here, you find yours, and you'll notice that your picture has a rectangle in it. So for mine, that I'm gonna be doing my demo over, I have something kind of like this. So you'll see there's that rectangle that's there in the middle. That represents the picture. So those of you that were in class, you got your printout of that inner picture. Those of you that were not here will need to pick yours up from the school at the front desk as soon as possible. So I will have those up there as of today, which is Tuesday. So the building will be open the remainder of this week. You'll need to come into the front desk, the receptionist's office, and pick up your picture. So if this is what I'm going to be painting, so this is going to be for a painting, but the inner box is going to be the actual picture itself. So setting this aside, first thing I'm going to need to do is figure out where my picture is going to go. So you're going to cut them out and glue them onto the boards. Now, whether you're, well, let me just go ahead and cut this out really quick. So whether yours goes like this, or your board goes this way, all of that is pretty much determined by your picture itself. So just use the ones that I put on Schoology as kind of your reference as you go. So this is going to get glued onto the board. Now the board is of your set of supplies that you got. You got 2 boards. One of them was for the animal grid drawing. That was the ungessoed board. The gessoed one is used for this project. So you're gonna want to glue this down in the middle. Now, for me, I am going to make sure that I want it to be as centered as possible. So I've already drawn a little crosshair in the middle that represents dead center. The picture itself is 6 inches by 4 inches. So if I put my ruler here at the 3-inch mark, I make a line over here. So there's my 6 inches. If I go, so this is 4 inches, 2 is halfway. I'll make a mark here, I'll make a mark at 4. So within those 4 lines there is where my picture is gonna go. So kind of like that, in that spot. For this, you can just use regular glue. I have mine in this kind of bottle, but it's the same glue. And I'm just gonna line it up with those marks that I made. And glue it on the board. Now, make sure when you're gluing it that you get the corners really good, which I did not do a very good job of that. So I'm gonna go back in with a little bit more just to make sure I get the corners. Now, ideally, you would want to let this dry completely before you start drawing on it. So what I would probably do is maybe put a couple books on top of this and just let it sit for a while until it's fully dry. But for the sake of this demo, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of show you what would come next. So let's say that this is completely dry, none of my corners are coming off, then I'm ready to move on. Corners in the middle. All I'm going to do now is for the remainder of the space, I'm going to draw what's outside of the box in the middle here on my initial picture. So everything, the picture that you glue onto there, that becomes part of the artwork. That's going to stay this right here. The rest of it, matching up with those lines, I'm going to try to draw everything else. And then with the black and white paints that you received with your supply kit, you're gonna paint the outside black and white. So like I said, just having this to the side as reference, I would go in, like I said, use the lines of your picture to kind of give you an idea of where everything needs to go. So I'm just going to kind of do, like I said, a sketch where I have all of my thing drawn. So I'm not going to go ahead and draw all this right now, but I would just continue, like I said, drawing all parts here so that the outside is drawn and then painted black and white. The inside is the picture. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. I want this to dry all the way before I really do anything else to it. So that's all for right now. Later on, I'll work a little bit more on it and kind of post some pictures of it in progress. So again, if you were not here in class whenever I gave out the pictures, you need to pick yours up from the school. They're all gonna be up at the receptionist's desk at the front entrance. They'll have your names on them. They'll be there anytime the building is open. So that's the first step for this.